Welcome back to the next episode of Wealth Strategies to Value. I am your host, Troy Shorts. I have some awesome information I want to share with you guys today. And I want to remind you what our mission is, what our purpose is. We're here to help our clients have a healthier, happier, and safer retirement. All right. This season of Wealth Strategies to Value is dedicated to talking about ordinary people that are doing extraordinary things. So I'm just so excited, man. I'm finally in a position where we can bring some of my clients who experience some of the benefits of dealing with Shorts and Associates straight to you, and you can hear it from the horse's mouth. All right. But today I don't have a guest, but I'm going to teach you guys something awesome today. So if you have a pen or paper, I'd love for you to pull that out. If you're listening to this, you may want to watch the video because you'll probably get a better idea of exactly what I'm saying. All right. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to build a financial house. I deal with tons of real estate folks, right? Always, buying real estate, flipping real estate, selling real estate. And this really just goes hand in hand with a lot of the people that want to buy real estate or are already invested in buying real estate. I call this building your financial house. All right. I want to talk to you about financial engineering. How do you build a financial house that will stand the test of time? Well, today you're going to learn the secrets of how it works. All right. I don't care what your tax bracket is. This works. I don't care what your income is. This works. All right. Y'all ready? All right. I'm going to switch my screen and I'm just going to draw my financial house. So my artwork isn't the best, but you're going to get exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to do the foundation. We're going to talk about what you need to have in your foundation so it's strong. The deeper, the wider the foundation, the bigger the house we can grow up, correct? We're going to talk about the rooms on the first floor, all right? There's two very distinct sections of the first floor that you have to have in your financial house. And then the top part is the roof, all right? We're going to talk about the roof and how to make sure you protect your roof, right? From fire, from rain, right? From wind, from hail, right? All that kind of stuff destroys your house, right? So we want to make sure no matter what happens, our financial house is going to stand the test of time, all right? You guys ready? Okay, here we go. Let me switch my screen. And we're going to start right here with the foundation, all right? All right, so your foundation, like I said, is really built into two distinct parts. So the bottom part of your foundation is what we label as short-term savings. All right, so what I mean by this is you must have a minimum of 6 to 9 months of your bills in savings parked. All right. So let me give you an example of conversations I've had with clients, and they say, well, Troy, our bills are $10,000 a month, right? So you're saying you want us to have $60,000 to $90,000 in savings, earning 0.0005% interest. I don't know if that's a good idea. I think we could earn some more interest on this money. But what I have to explain to you guys that's very, very important is this is nothing to do with rate of return. This has everything to do with liquidity. Oh, I'm sorry, I spelled that wrong. Liquidity, all right? The reason this money's here is because storms come, right? And not only do storms come, but opportunities come. And most of us can't take advantage of those opportunities because we don't have the resources to take advantage of them when they come, all right? So I currently have clients right now that have 12 months. I have clients that have 24 months because it's their comfort level. That's what they feel. But the minimum is 6 to 9. You got to have that. What that does for you is it gives you permission to put money on Wall Street. It gives you permission to put money at risk in other places, right? But if you don't have this, you don't have the permission to do it. So here's my question to you. Here's my question. How many months of your bills do you have right now today parked in short-term savings? Is it 6? Is it 1? Is it 9? Is it 12? Is it 24? All right. So If you're not where you need to be, guess where you need to start allocating money? Foundation, right? Bigger the foundation, the higher the house, right? So let's skip to the next section. And this is the second part of your foundation. So we want to double this thing up, all right? So the second part of your foundation is what we call non-deductible debt. All right. So our job is to attack this debt. How much debt do you have that you do not write off on your taxes? Student loans, car payments, credit cards. Can't write any of that stuff off, right? You must reduce. We must minimize. We must eliminate all non-deductible debt from our lives. Because what happens here is it's about interest, right? You're either paying interest to the financial institutions versus earning interest. All right. So I can give you a quick example of a client met with recently, and we were attacking this debt, right? So when you looked at their mortgage payment, their credit cards, their student loans, their credit cards, and you added all that up, I think they were paying like $3,500 a month, right? So we ran some numbers and we said, what if we consolidated the non-deductible debt into the mortgage debt, and now you're writing off what you couldn't write off before, and we can take the difference. Instead of paying interest, we can start earning some interest. I hope you get that, all right? Now, right now, interest rates are going up, right? So I want to say they were like 3.75 on their mortgage, right? But now it's a 7, right? So people automatically say, oh, Troy, I would never go from a 3.75 to a 7. That doesn't make any sense, okay? So we got to think about this, because when you add the credit card interest rate, you add the car payment interest rate, you add the student loan interest rate, you add all of it, it's not 3. It's not 3.7. It's actually 12, right? Because it's cumulative, right? You're paying $3,500 a month for 12, right? So if you consolidate all that stuff at 7, it's all about cash flow, right? I want to say they freed up somewhere like $1,800 a month. That's over $21,000 a year with no out-of-pocket cost. So what could you do with an extra $21,000 a year? Let's say you saved it for 10 years with 0 interest rate. Well, guess what? In 10 years, that's $210,000. My point is that money is available to you. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. So a very simple strategy where we eliminated and minimize and reduce their debt through a deductible asset as opposed to a non-deductible asset literally put $210,000 in their pocket over a 10-year period. Let me ask you, what could you do with an extra $210,000, right? You can make some of your dreams come true, right? You can make some of the wishes come true. Some of your financial goals you can accomplish very simply with no additional out-of-pocket costs. We just re-engineered your debt. All right. So that's the foundation. All right. So let's move on to the first floor of the financial home. All right. Let's move up here. So there's 2 distinct rooms. All right. So the first room is literally broken into 2 parts. All right. Let me ask you a question. What is your number one asset? What is your number one asset? Number one asset. All right. So when I ask people this question, a lot of people will say to me, Troy, my number one asset is my home. All right. Okay. I can agree with that. I had a guy tell me his number one asset was his children. I said, oh, okay. Some people say my number one asset is my 401k or my stock portfolio, right? My number one asset. So what I say to people is when I ask them this question is that's all good. However, your number one asset is your ability to go to work every day and bring home a paycheck. If you don't have a paycheck, you can't pay for your car. You can't pay for your home. You can't feed your family. It takes money. Your income is your number one asset. So in this section of the house, we have to protect our income, which is our most valuable asset. All right. So the reason people lose their income, there's two very distinct reasons. They either get sick or they get injured. All right. Hopefully this never happens to you. All right. However, people get sick. However, people get injured. People lose wages because of sickness and injury. So my question is to you, if today was the day where you could not go to work to earn that paycheck, what is your contingency plan? How much income protection do you have? When does it kick in? How much is it? How long will it last? These are very important questions that you need to ask yourself if you want to build the proper financial home. All right. Real quickly, I've been doing this for a long time. I've had clients that were sick. I've had a guy who had a heart attack. I've had a client that had a stroke. You guys might have remembered him. He was on the podcast. He had a stroke, and we had income protection in place, and he didn't lose a beat, right? I actually have had a client that had terminal cancer. All right. So because of the proper income protection that we put in place, these people never skipped a beat. They never thought this would ever happen to them. But because they were building their financial home the right way, guess what? They could pay their mortgage. They could pay their car payments. They could pay their bills. They could still take vacations. They could do all the things that they would have done had they been working. All right. Very, very, very important. So that brings us to the second part of the first floor. And this is what I call liability insurance. Some people don't even know what this is, and it's really kind of heartbreaking. This is what we label as an umbrella policy. So let me just do it like this. So you know what an umbrella looks like, right? It goes kind of like this. All right. It's got the little hook right there. All right. So when I say umbrella, what this means is there's an umbrella of protection over top of your auto insurance and your home insurance. Now, these policies start at $1 million. So let me give an example of how this works. If you pull out your car insurance policy and it says the maximum liability is $500,000. You get into an accident, God forbid, it's your fault. Somebody's suing you. The person that you hit by accident is injured and they're suing you for $1 million. Well, your insurance company is going to say, okay, well, here's what you're paying for. Here's what we're on the hook for. Here's $500,000. We're going to pay the claim. And now we're going to do like this. We're going to wash our hands of this whole deal. Well, you're on the hook for another $500,000. Where's the money going to come from? Where could the money come from? Could it come from your assets? Could it come from your income? Could your children end up paying for it? Well, if you have an umbrella policy, guess what? No one's going to come after your assets because this umbrella is over and above. So in other words, if you have this policy and someone comes against you in a lawsuit, your car insurance is going to pay what they're at liable for, and the umbrella is going to pick up the balance. And guess what that does for you? Guess what that does for you? It protects your assets. No one's coming after the home. No one's coming after your income. Kids don't have to pay for your debt, right? It's protection. It's building the house correctly. So here's the question. Here we go again. How much liability insurance do you have over and above what your car insurance policy has and your homeowner's insurance policy has? These policies start at $1 million. How many millions do you have of protection? All right. So let's go to the next room. So the next room is what we label our long-term savings. All right. So what I mean by long-term savings in this room, there's something that's very, very important. This means that your Principal is guaranteed and all your interest is guaranteed. You see, there's guarantees here in your long-term savings. In your long-term savings, we want to make sure that you never, ever lose money, right? We want to make sure that you get something called uninterrupted compound interest until the day you die. You guys heard me talk about leverage, liquidity, and control all the time. We want to make sure that you have a leverageable asset. All right. So what that means is now, as your money's growing, you can borrow OPM. You can borrow other people's money. All right. While your money continues to compound and grow. Liquidity. Right. This is real important. We want to make sure that you always have access to cash. Access. So if you think back when we had COVID, the country shut down, right? And the people who had access to cash were the people that became millionaires during COVID. All right. So we got leverage, we got liquidity and control. We all want control of our money, right? Well, in this room here, control means you're going to be able to control the amount of taxes that you're responsible for paying. You're going to be in control of the fees. You're going to be in control of the market risk where it doesn't hurt you. Okay. You control that. You can have money growing tax-free. You can have money that's accessible without fees. You can have money that's going to grow and compound regardless if the market is up, if the market is down. All right. So the other one is long-term care benefits. All right. If you, God forbid, became sick or injured to the point where you had to go into a nursing home, or God forbid, you had to have care come into your home because you couldn't perform, the daily activities of living, right? Unfortunately, this happens to people. And you understand that these long-term care benefits are very expensive, very, very expensive. My aunt was in a home, very successful lady. She had real estate. She had 401k. She had pension. She went into a home, $10,000 per month, and literally liquidated her entire life savings was gone. And the sad story about this is, her grandchildren, when she passed, came to say, hey, what did grandmom leave us? And my mom said to the grandkids, she said, remember the home that your grandmom was in? They got all the money. All right. They got it all. There's nothing left. All right. So we want to make sure that, God forbid, if that happens to you, how can you protect yourself and your family? All right. Without paying additional premiums where it's built into the plan. All right. That's really what you want. And the last part of the long term is this legacy, right? How am I going to leave a legacy to my family? Well, the reason you can leave a legacy to your family or your church or your charity or your dog, whoever, it really is something that we talk about a lot, and it's called generational wealth. How do you move money from one generation to the next generation? This is what the Rockefellers did, right? This is what the Kennedys did. All right. This is what the Malcolm Forbes did. And, all this stuff is very documented. If you just do some research, and the reason is because there's a death benefit, and that death benefit is always going to come back tax-free. So what you may have surmised is this long-term savings here. This long-term savings is literally something that you know about. It's called cash value life insurance. This is a very important room in your financial house because it allows $1 to do multiple things. So here's the question. How much of this account do you have right now? How much is in your portfolio right now? Well, if you don't have it, you need to get it right now. And if you do have it, you probably need to buy another policy. Make sense? So we're almost done. We're heading to the roof. All right, let's move up to the roof. All right. Put a little chimney action on there, a little smoke coming out. All right. So here's the roof. So in the roof, we have investments. All right. Investments simply mean that there are no guarantees, right? So your principal is not guaranteed. Your interest is not guaranteed. All right. This is that risk versus reward. That's where this happens. And most of the people that I talk to are putting money into the roof before they put money into the foundation. So how long do you think that house is going to stand? All right. So what I'm talking about here is stocks. I'm talking about bonds. I'm talking about mutual funds, right? I'm talking about real estate, right? I'm talking about Bitcoin, right? No guarantees. And what happens, unfortunately, is every 6 to 8 years, Wall Street lets us down. If you go back in history, you can just look. Up, down, up, down. So the question is, when's the best time to put money in the market? When it's up or when it's down? Well, most people say, well, when it's down, right? You're getting shares, you're buying them at a discount, correct? Well, if your house is not in order, you're not in a position to do this. I meet with clients that have very, very little short-term savings, but at the same time, they're putting, $10,000 in their 401k at work with risk, with fees, no guarantees. Principal's not guaranteed. Interest is not guaranteed. It won't last because storms come. People have to go and take a loan from their 401k at work. And the employer says, no problem. We have provisions where you can take a loan, okay? But here's the gotcha. When you take a loan from a 401k, is that money taxable or tax-free when it comes to you? It's tax-free. Loans have to be repaid. So when you repay the loan, is the repayment before tax or after tax? Well, if you didn't know, it's after tax. So you're paying a tax, then repaying the loan to go back into your 401k to be deferred until a later date. And when you retire and you pull it out again, it's taxed a second time. Double taxation because your house is not in order. These are the things that we bring to our clients' attention and prevent these kind of mistakes from happening. Because the people who are holding on to all the money are the people who are telling you to put all your money up here. But they're not explaining to people how you don't have the proper foundation. So I want to give you permission to put money in the roof, all right? Because you're in order. You're not going to make a mistake. You're not going to go backwards. So if the market does take a downturn, it's okay. You're not going to lose your shirt. You got 6 months, 9 months, 12 months down here, right? You got your long-term savings right here growing, right? So what a great place to take money from here, or take money from here and move it up here, right? To take advantage of those downturns, right? When the market comes back. This is awesome stuff. I'm giving you this information for absolutely free. There are people that pay thousands of dollars just to understand exactly what I'm explaining to you on this whiteboard. All right. So this is some food for thought. And I really want you guys to take some close attention, pay close attention to how am I set up? Am I prepared for the wind? Am I prepared for the rain? Am I prepared for the fire? Right? Am I prepared for inflation? right? Am I prepared for taxes going up? Am I prepared for market risk, right? So I'm telling you, I can throw those things against my house. Taxes, right? I can throw that against my house. Market risk. I can throw that against my house. Inflation. I can throw that against my house. Fees. I can throw that against my house. And guess what? My house will stand because I did it the right way. This is awesome information. Any questions? I'd love to share with you guys, because this is what we do. We help people build strong financial houses with built-in redundancy. So you can never make a mistake. You can never go wrong. You'll always be on the plus side of the ledger. You'll never be going backwards, ever, ever, ever again. Thanks for listening. Tune in to our next episode. Thanks for listening again. Wealth Strategies to Value. Bye-bye.